Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to this session. I am Dr. Ala Hussein Al-Hams, and today we will be dealing with Introduction to Linguistics, Lecture 1. So, the main points that we are going to deal with are the following. What is language? Features of language, forms of language, functions of language, theories of language, origin. What is linguistics? Branches of linguistics, and finally, central concepts of linguistics. Now, let's try to answer this question. What is language? Language, of course, is a complex system of communication that enables humans to express thoughts, emotions, intentions, and information. It is characterized by structured patterns of symbols, sounds, or gestures used to convey meaning. Language is a fundamental feature of human society and is central to cultural, social, and cognitive development. Key features of language. We'll be looking at arbitrariness. Of course, arbitrariness means the relationship between words, which means symbols, and their meanings is often arbitrary. For example, the word tree in English has no inherent connection to the physical object it represents. Other languages use entirely different words for the same concept. The second feature is rule governed structure. Language is governed by a set of rules, grammar, that dictate how words can be combined to form meaningful sentences. These rules include syntax, morphology, phonology, and semantics. The third feature is creativity and productivity. Language allows infinite combinations of words and sentences to express new ideas, making it highly productive. Speakers can create and understand sentences they have never heard before. Now, the fourth feature is displacement. Language enables humans to communicate about things that are not immediately present, such as past or future events, abstract ideas, or hypothetical scenarios. The fifth feature is cultural transmission. Language is passed from one generation to the next through social interaction and learning, making it a cultural phenomenon. The sixth point is duality of patterning. Language operates on two levels: a finite set of discrete sounds, phonemes, or symbols. These are combined to create a potentially infinite set of meaningful units, words, or sentences. Now we'll be looking at forms of language. We have three main forms, as you all know. We have spoken language, written language, and sign language. What do we mean by spoken language? Spoken language is the use of vocal sounds to communicate. For the written language, it is a visual representation of a spoken language through symbols or characters. As for the sign language, it is a system of gestures, facial expressions, and body movements used primarily by the deaf and hard of hearing communities. We'll be looking at functions of language. There are four main functions. The first function of a language is communication. Language is used to convey information, emotions, and intentions. The second function of a language is social interaction. Social interaction means establishing relationships, expressing identity, and maintaining social bonds. The third function is cognition. Cognition means facilitating thought, problem solving, and learning. As for the expression, it means articulating emotions, creativity, and culture. Example, poetry and storytelling. Now let's look at theories of language origin. The origins of language are debated, and theories range from biological evolution to social and cultural development. Some key theories include the following. Biological theory. Language evolved as a unique human trait supported by cognitive and neurological structures. Example, Noam Chomsky's universal grammar. For the social theory, language developed as a tool for social cooperation and interaction. Now, what is linguistics? Linguistics is the study or the scientific study of language and its structure. It seeks to understand how languages work, how they are used, and how they evolve over time. Linguists analyze the components of language, such as sounds, words, sentences, and meaning, as well as the relationship between language and society, culture, and cognition. Now, key branches of linguistics. Some of these keys are phonetics. Phonetics means the study of speech sounds and their physical properties. Example, how the sound P is pronounced in pat, for example. The second branch of linguistics is phonology. Phonology is the study of how sounds function within a particular language system. For example, why cat and bat differ in meaning because of the initial sound. Morphology is the third branch of linguistics. Morphology means the study of the structure and formation of words. Example, understanding prefixes, roots, and suffixes like unhappiness, the un plus the root word which is happy plus the ness. The fourth branch is syntax. Syntax is the study of sentence structure and the rules that govern word order. Example, why the cat sat on the mat is correct, but cat the mat on sat is not correct. The fifth branch of linguistics is semantics. Semantics is the study of meaning in language. For example, why child and kid have similar meanings but slightly different connotations. We also have pragmatics. Pragmatics is the study of how context influences meaning. Example, why can you pass the salt is a request, not a literal question about ability. We also have sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is the study of how language varies and changes in social contexts. Example, differences in how people speak based on region, age, or social class. The eighth branch of linguistics is psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics means the study of how language is processed in the brain. Example, understanding how children acquire language. We also have historical linguistics. Historical linguistics is the study of how language evolved over time. Example, tracing how Latin evolved into modern Romance languages like Spanish and French. We also have applied linguistics, which is the practical application of linguistic theory to solve real-world problems. Example, developing methods for teaching foreign languages. Now let's move to central concepts of linguistics. Here we'll be looking at language as a system. Language as a system is seen, or language is seen as a structured system of communication that uses symbols, example, sounds, words, to convey meaning. It is rule governed and hierarchical, with smaller units, i.e., sounds, combining to form larger structures, words, and sentences. The second concept is grammar. Grammar encompasses the set of rules that govern the structure of language. Of course, it includes phonetics and phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. The third concept of linguistics is competence versus performance. Here, it is important to set the difference between both terms. Competence means when a speaker's implicit knowledge of language and its rules is idealized. Example, knowing that the cat sleeps is grammatically correct. Performance, the actual use of language in real life contexts, which can include errors. Example, saying the cat sleeps when speaking. We also have language and cognition. Language and cognition explores how language reflects the shapes and shapes cognitive processes. Example, how we use metaphors like time is money. Now we have arbitrariness, which is the connection between linguistic signs, words, sounds, and their meanings, is arbitrary. Example, there is no inherent reason. The word dog represents a canon, it's a convention. The sixth concept of linguistics is universality and diversity. Universal grammar, i.e., the idea that all humans share an innate ability to acquire language and that all languages share certain structural principles. Noam Chomsky. Linguistic diversity means that each language has unique features, sounds, and structures that distinguish it from others. We also have language acquisition. Language acquisition means linguistics explores how humans acquire language, whether as first language acquisition or second language acquisition. Now, descriptive versus prescriptive approaches. Descriptive linguistics observes and describes how language is actually used, while prescriptive linguistics establishes rules about how language should be used. Now we'll be moving to de Saussure's theory. Of course, Ferdinand de Saussure, often regarded as the father of modern linguistics, introduced revolutionary ideas that shaped the field. His work, primarily outlined in his posthumously published course in General Linguistics 1916, laid the foundation for structural linguistics. Now, here are the central ideas of de Saussure's theory. The first idea is language as a structured system. De Saussure viewed language as a system of signs, where the relationships between elements are more important than the individual elements themselves. Language for de Saussure is not a random collection of sounds or words, but a structured system of interrelated units. The second term is the linguistic sign. The linguistic sign for de Saussure means that most famous concepts is the linguistic sign, which has two components. the signifier and the signified. The signifier is the physical form of the word or expression. Example, sound, letters. Example, the word tree or its spoken sound. The signified, the concept or mental image associated with the signifier. Example, the idea of a tree in your mind. Now, synchronic versus diachronic linguistics. Let's set the differences between both terms. The synchronic linguistics is the study of language at a specific point in time. It focuses on structure. For example, analyzing modern English as it is spoken today, while diachronic linguistics is the study of language change over time, i.e., historical linguistics. For example, tracing the evolution of the word night from Old English to modern English. Now we'll be looking at long versus parole. Long means language is the structured system of rules and conventions shared by a speech community. For example, English grammar, vocabulary, and syntax. While parole, which means speech in English, is the actual use of language in daily communication. Example, a conversation between two people. The value of science. A science meaning arises from its relationship to other science within the system, not from its inherent properties. Example, the meaning of cat is understood in contrast to dog or rat. Now let's move to structuralism. De Saussure's ideas laid the groundwork for structuralism, a methodology that analyzes systems of relationships in cultural phenomena. Structuralism extends beyond linguistics, influencing anthropology, literary theory, and semiotics. Now, we'll be moving to semiology. De Saussure proposed the study of semiology, the science of signs in society, encompassing all forms of communication, example, gestures, symbols, and cultural practices. So here we come to the end of our session. Thank you very much for your attention. This video will be uploaded to the official website with the main references. Thank you very much.